What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back once again. Today we're gonna go straight into it and do some static malware analysis. Um, that's what I've been trying to do more and more recently. This is Flare VM, as you can see on the desktop. This is the tool. This is the VM preloaded with tools for both malware and static analysis, right? Sorry, both static and dynamic malware analysis. So today I'm gonna dive more into the static side of things, the basics and stuff. Um, static malware is where you figure out what's going on in malware, what it does, some of the features of the malware before actually executing the malware. Because sometimes when you execute malware in a dynamic environment, it may not act exactly as it should because maybe if it realizes it's running a sandbox or something, it may not execute or quit. I observed that a while ago when analyzing like a different type of malware the other time. Dynamic is where you execute the malware, actually click on it or open the malware, and whether it be in like a cloud environment or in your own sandbox like now, right? Whilst not making it connect to the internet. So today I have two malwares, uh, hey.exe and then me.exe. If I don't forget, I will show you where I downloaded the malware from. But uh, I'm going to use Capa and then Studio as my basic. Those are my two, should I say, favorite ones that I use so far. That's if they work, right? So Kappa, let me first go into desktop and then I'm going to run Kappa me.exe, right? So what Kappa does is it's going to give you, it's going to just like, statically, it's going to tell you what it thinks the malware is going to do, whether it's going to write to this, it's going to download something, it's going to reach out to websites and try to do defense evasion and map it to the MITRE attack framework, right? Um, and here we have, this is currently connected to the internet because you're not going to do any dynamic analysis. So I'm going to take this and put it in here. And then uh, since it's that, you can see the virus total is going to tell us what it's detected it for as well, right? Um, what it thinks it is, which is pretty cool. I'm going to put it here for now. Um, I'm going to use this for Kappa because using Commander, which is an advanced um, command line for uh, yes, advanced command CMD. It has extra functionalities. Today it looks like it's not working, but let's do kappa me.exe. Hopefully that works. But whilst you're waiting for that, I'm going to make this bigger a little bit so we can take a look at it. Whoa. So here, in malware analysis, we can see it tells you something such as it gives you 4D58. They call it the magic number. Oh, sorry. MC is the magic number. Every executable, that XE executable, it starts with MZ. So when you see that, you know that is an executable, right? And then we have 4D5A as well. So that tells you what it is. And this tells us this is an executable, 32-bit executable, and it's a graphical user interface. Why? Because most malware uh, are made in 32 bits so that they can run in almost every environment. Because currently we have 64-bit, but 32-bit is the older version. So they want to be able to run in the older legacy computers. That's why they make these. And the version, this is a different language. We will find that out in a bit, but that's the different language. File descriptions in a different language as well. And then we have that, we have the signature, and we have the timestamp. This was Friday, June 19, 2022. But then from my little research, I found out this can be changed. So it may not be accurate. But apart from that, you go to the virus total, and then virus total, the engines are telling that this is a Trojan, this is malware, some of them are undetected. it's a bat, it's a Trojan, it's a whatever, and all of that, right? And then when we go to the DOS, it tells you, it gives you the SHA 256, so you can put in virus total if we didn't have this, right? But it's already in there for you, so you don't really have to do much with it. So it gives you all the other nice information. But one of the important ones is that I like is the imports, the imports and the libraries. It gives you the library, um, and then the library contains the imports, right? So the library tells you the kernel, users, the registry stuff, all the other nice stuff. But the most important things that I like, or to me, that I kind of find it interesting, is the imports. It tells you basically what the file is doing, right? It's going to do. Uh, it deletes critical selection, get local info, it get command line, um, what other stuff? It gets module. Oh, there you go. I think my P Studio crashed. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but police usually do this without internet off. So I think with the internet being on, Capa was doing some extra stuff. I could be wrong. I'll figure that out later on. But I turn off the VM and turn off the connection. As you can see, there's nothing going on. So you're going to run it without it. Let me first run it with this. Uh, and see what happens. Then I will do this one and so on. But for now, I'm going to leave it and we are going to put it back into PE Studio. It could have been PE Studio. Sometimes really it's annoying because it crashes out, which sucks. But as we were, so we were at the imports section, and then one thing about the imports is it kind of flags the ones where it thinks in kind of malware use mostly for like the bad stuff. So those are the ones in red because a lot of these also legitimate programs use them. So you can't just say because it's using them it's bad or good, right? So you can see it creates a directory here. It creates a file, it deletes a file. Synonymous to malware, if this is not expected file, but we all know it's bad. And then it removes directory, which is something, when malware try to clean themselves, they remove directory, right? So, and then we are going to go to some of the red ones and see. The red ones, the virtual location, sometimes uh, malware may create a space in another program and inject it. That's what we call process injection. You create a memory space, and then they will uh, create the remote call to get it to execute, right? So it may be a legitimate program executing or doing its stuff, but then it has been injected, so it's not running normal again. That's what it's called, process injection. So erase exception, you get keyboard type, um it's terminates processes. When malware, like if it's a ransomware and they want to deploy all their stuff as part of the impact, they will terminate uh, running processes as part of stuff. Yeah. So basically, this is going to tell you this type of stuff. It does the registry, it open registry key, it queries the registry because sometimes I have to query the registry to see some of the things that's going on. It does queries to find out the type of host that is on to see if it should run, because if it realizes it's in a sandbox, it's not going to run. I've realized that in one of my stuff. Like it will start and it will terminate. It will start and it will terminate. It has sleep. Some malware sleep for some time and not execute, so they will not be found, right? So then we go to strengths. Do we have strengths here? Before that, it's still waiting for strengths. There we go. So Kappa finally decided to work. Ah, all right, that's good. Let's try this one here and see if this will work. But it's basically the same thing, so we will work with this for now. But we'll go back to it. For now, let's finish this. So overlay, it goes here. So for the overlay, the signature where we get the entropy, the higher, usually this is about 5 or 6, but the higher the entropy, the more you kind of know what the file is either compressed or encrypted or packed. That's kind of what it is. So entropy measures the randomness or disorder in a file or in data. Then we have the version. The language is English, and then the code is ANSI, and then kernel comments. Let me copy this and find out what this is. Copy the value. Okay. Of course, I've disabled copying between my VM and host, so it's not going to give us what it is. But I think we that's a lot in here. Uh, maybe it's Latin. Company name. Usually we can get all these artifacts and see what they are about. Anyways, first by the location. So we are going to go to the strengths. That's one of the uh, nicer things about this as well. We can also find strengths here. Strengths are basically the literal uh, artifacts in the malware. That is what sometimes going to tell you what the file paths are going to be inside the inside a string, inside strings, like literal words for you. Let's switch back into Kappa and see what Kappa does. So I'm not going to move these around again, at least for now, because I probably should have done them like one after the other. Because Studio, I think, is the one that's throwing all these down. Let me actually close it. Yeah, let me close it for now. And so here's Kappa. Kappa is going to give you the SHA, um, the hashes of them, MD5, SHA-256, and all of the other nice stuff, right? It's going to tell you what it's about. Right now, it's saying this is the attack tactic and the technique, right? So you can see the collections. I don't know where my mouse is right now, uh, but there's collection and there's defense evasion, and then it tells you collection input capture key login. That's what I was alluding to, the get keyboard type. Um, maybe not directly correlated. There may be something else in there as well, but we have defense evasion, and it tells you file and directory, permission modification, hide artifacts. Um, it performs discovery, account discovery, application and stuff. Query the registry, like I was mentioning, system information, system location, discovery, system, all the nicer finds the user and the discovery, because when they want to see what's going on the host. So they're going to kind of find out, especially if it's like a crypto miner malware, they want to know what's going on, if it has enough resources and all of that stuff. So they're going to be doing discovery. They're going to make all that discovery. And then there's execution, there's impact, which is the shut system down, reboot, privilege escalation. And then the capability is down there where it shows you a reference analysis tool strings, log keystroke via polling, you know, accept command line argument, get common file path. Yeah, basically kind of like right now at this point it's redundant, but you get what I mean. It's almost the same thing that it's doing. It's basically giving an overview. So you actually um before you actually run this, especially if a client brings this to you, you use these to kind of know the behavior of the files, right? So let's minimize this. Uh Actually, I minimize the wrong thing. I want to minimize this instead. Okay. As you can see here in Commander, it's the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. This was what was happening that I thought it was because it was connected to the internet. It still did it. Usually it doesn't do this, but it will give you the same thing. Basically, it gives you that. It tells you the collection. It tells you all the other stuff. It tells you the capability. So it's pretty dope stuff, right? We're gonna go into proper ones the other time because still learning. But let's minimize this. Let's go back to our nice. Let me actually close this because it's not working properly. So let's do PE Studio and let's do the strings. Actually, before PE Studio, let me do uh command line again and show you what I was saying. So we can find the strengths of the file that I was trying to show you in PE Studio just in case it doesn't work. So in PE Studio, right, you can just sorry, in command line you can just run strings and point it to the file that we want. Then it will extract all the strings. You see that that's a lot of strings. A lot of them are just gibberish, right? But then it will tell you, and you later find out why it's so great. So start from the top. Most of them are really going to be nothing. So I'm going to speed this up until we find something valuable, especially when we are trying to like create rules for it, like a Yara rule or something. These are some of the things that we can use to create a rule. So unfortunately, there is the strings. These don't have anything meaningful in them. So, but I used the hate.exe and I found a lot more, right there. So it's a lot more here. So it tells you some of the things that it does. I mean, these are the ones that we have already observed, but then there is more. Did I skip it? So you get content type. It also shows you some things like the user. It could be something that it creates, right? Um, we see Mozilla Firefox as a user agent for something. It probably uses that. It looks like this is maybe a path, home path. It probably creates TXT files. It looks like this is a ransomware file that I downloaded. So it probably will create that the file for you to open. Um, uh, it has all these stuff. Uh, use these looks to be the staging areas where it will create files, right? User profile, the desktop, the downloads, music, documents, videos, pictures. Uh, yeah, because usually when malware is downloaded, they like to be in these environments, these file paths. So usually, if you're looking for malware, this is where we're going to be looking at things from. So usually, you will be able to, let's say you were analyzing that malware, you will be able to use this to kind of hunt for the stuff, right? To see what's going on. So I'm glad this one worked. So that's what usually the strengths are for. But then I enjoy reviewing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too. But before I go, let me see if I would wanna detonate. Um, I want to detonate. I already turned off my Wi-Fi, my connection. So let me see. Let me ping 8.8.8.8. That's the Google timeout. So let's see, right? Let's see. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we put this in here. Let's get let's get prop one. Process monitor. And process monitor is going to allow us to track the changes from this this file, me.exe, right? So we can filter it before we start, but I'll just start it for now. You can just start it, and then we execute this. For higher privileges, you're gonna run it as an administrator. Sometimes we may not even see it run because malware sometimes they run in the background, right? Sometimes we may see things pop up and close, but we may not see anything. Uh, this is the strength session in uh Studio, by the way. See the same things that we are witnessing. So Studio kind of give you a lot of things in one. That's why it's so nice. So I guess it has too much to do. That's why it be breaking down sometimes. It freeze? Oh no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. It wasn't running at the time. My bad. It wasn't running. So now if so you see? Ah, ooh, ooh, look at this. Oh, nice. Right there, it opened a file in the language. I need to screenshot this. Hold on. But I need to screenshot this. I need to translate this. But ain't that nice? So it's probably doing its own thing in the background, open a PDF file, um, to try to probably test connection or whatever it is. It says Windows cannot find, make sure you typed it in. It's trying to run something, it's trying to do some things. Let's say it's probably doing things in the background. Next time we will do like when we do the proper dynamic analysis, we will run red shot so it can track the registry, but we can also do with process monitor as well. Um, we have fake net where usually we run that for anytime it's trying to go to the internet, it will intervene, but my fake net is not working. It only works when it's connected to the internet, and then we do not want that. So um let's see, it's probably doing some things.